Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paperboy, evening TV.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! Come here for a minute. I want to talk to you. Mama says you're brain dead, bang your head against the wall. Can't find peace of mind, brain needs an overhaul. Bonehead, brain dead, we're all the same. You can't think straight when your heart is in pain. Turn around, hit the ground, time to lay your burden down.
The views expressed on this broadcast of the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show are those of the co-host and guest and do not necessarily reflect those of our affiliates. The topics and opinions on today's show should not be considered as medical, psychological, or professional advice. Take 12 Radio is not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship. And now, here's your host,
the man, the myth, the legend,
the Monty Man.
I'm telling you the truth, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. Good guys, bad boys, we're all the same. Saved by grace is the name of the game. Turn around, hit the ground, time to lay your burden down.
Welcome to the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show. Another fine episode with Denver.
Good morning.
And Marv.
Yeah,
I'm here. Yeah, you are here. Yes. And myself, Tony, is not feeling well at all. Tony deals with hypoglycemia, and so please keep her in your prayers and thoughts. James, her beau, had to call the ambulance a couple nights ago, and she had a hypoglycemic attack, and she's not doing too well this morning. She's not feeling too chipper.
We miss you.
We miss you, Tony. And Tony, you know what we have in the studio right now? Woohoo! Denver brought moon pies. Moon pie. And you never heard of these moon pies. So we're going to save the box here for you when you come next week.
The moon pies, too.
Yeah, the moon pies. Yeah. And it says since 1917. And let me tell you, it tastes like it's been sitting on the shelf since 1917.
They haven't changed a lot.
They haven't changed a lot, no. 6 single-decker pies, moon pies. They have, there's a marshmallow middle, which has seemed to have gotten thinner over the years. And then there is a cookie sawdust type
particle board.
With a waxy chocolate coating. And I took 2 bites of it, and I'm already regretting it. But there's something very nostalgic about a moon pie.
It was. When I found them, I said, I got to get them.
Yeah.
I looked for a month to get them on the show earlier. We were going to have moon pie and chocolate milk Monday. And then I couldn't find them again.
We could have had them during the eclipse.
Exactly.
Pies,
well, that's the time I was looking to get them. Yeah.
That would have been a good idea.
And then yesterday, I just stumbled across them, and I said, oh, there they are, the lovely moon pie. I must have it. I got it, and ugh.
Well, they are 4 grams of saturated fat, 180 milligrams of sodium, 39 grams of carbohydrates, 19 grams of sugar. So compared to most cookies and things like that, this isn't as bad as some of them.
Yeah, it's not whipped Crisco anywhere in there.
No.
Which really makes it dry.
But they are very interesting. If you've never had a moon pie, you owe it to yourself not to have one. No, have one, take a bite out of it, and then you can say you've had one.
Yeah, just don't give it to the pets.
Don't give it to the pets. All right. Well, hey, listen, right away, and I want to touch on this right away before we go any further. Last night, and this is as taping of this show. So we tape this show at 10 a.m. on Monday mornings. So depending on when you listen to this, these statistics may have changed. But last night at approximately 10 p.m., at a country western concert featuring Jason Aldean, 64-year-old Stephen Paddock allegedly shot with an automatic weapon into a crowd of over 20,000 people from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. So far, as of this morning, the death toll was 58, possibly 59, and the injured is now counted at 515 and climbing. Over 10 firearms were found in the room that he was in. He, by the way, then turned on himself and took his own life. There appears to be no connection with any known terrorist groups at this time. This is the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history.
Wow.
You know, the Ariana Grande concert over in Europe, I think it was in Europe, there was a mass shooting here just a month ago or something like that.
I hadn't heard about it.
Yeah, there was something about that too. And so our hearts go out to the friends and families and all the people. I mean, it was when I was watching the news report this morning and watching the people running, some people were running towards this wall. It was kind of a canyon area, so they couldn't get out, which made it hard for first responders to get in there and do what they need. And there were people trying to climb over a wall. And, you know, the thing that was most impressive is people that didn't even know each other were guarding with their bodies other people so they wouldn't get shot.
Right.
There was just tons of people doing that. You know, I mean, there was a great group effort to protect each other. And very, very sad incident. You wake up to something like this in the morning, you don't know what to say. You know, it's just it's tragic. So please, folks, pray for our world. It's we're in deep weeds.
Amen.
We are in deep weeds, and it's nothing a moon pie can fix.
No,
that's for sure.
Definitely not.
Yeah. All right, so on to some more fun things. You heard the soundbite at the beginning of the show. So we're in the middle of our soundbite contest, and last week we had a soundbite, and we played that for you.
It's been a long week. I almost forgot about that.
Did you?
I did.
Did you forget? Well, I will tell you that the winner. The soundbite was to the TV show Three's Company with John Ritter and Suzanne Summers and the clue was Mr. Roper, who was the landlord in the original, and Jack Tripper, who was played by John Ritter, played a guy that was to be able to live with these two beautiful girls, claimed to be gay, so the landlord, who was very old-fashioned, would let him live there. Because if he was shacking up with the two girls, he wasn't going to let him live there. So he pretended to be gay so he could live there, and that was basically what the sitcom was all about. It was called Three's Company. So Todd is the winner. Now, Todd H., I believe. So, Todd, you need to email me your mailing address. Email it to take12radio@comcast.net, and Todd wins the DVD Walking Through the Big Book with Chris Schroeder, 34 one-hour workshops.
Maybe a moon pie, too.
And maybe we'll send him a moon pie. I mean, they certainly have lasted since
Todd, congratulations.
Congratulations, Todd.
It'd probably be okay because I think those are...
about the same thickness.
Petrified.
I think they're petrified. Yeah. So Todd was the very first email to come in. We had 42 emails, and Todd was number one. Yay!
Well, congratulations, Todd.
Yeah. So zippity doo dah day. It's time to play Guess That Soundbite. That's right. So we're going to play the soundbite for this week one more time, and if you guess that soundbite, remember you also have to send in the soundbite clue, which will be mentioned sometime in the show. So here is the soundbite again for this week.
Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paperboy, evening TV.
There you go. There's the soundbite. So send in your guests to take12radio@comcast.net along with the soundbite clue. And send me your mailing address when you do that.
Very important.
Yeah, very important. So if you are the first email that comes in, then we will announce it next week for the winners. So congratulations again to Todd. Todd. There you go. Now, Denver, you were at a recovery event up in Portland.
I was.
With our friend Dave Fleming.
Yeah.
Who is a certified alcohol and drug counselor.
Uh-huh.
That works out at Life Renewal, outpatient facility out at the Adult and Teen Challenge Center in Shed, Oregon. And you guys went up there for Recover Oregon? Is that what it was called?
Yes. Oregon Recovers.
Oregon Recovers?
Yeah, I had to think. If I'd known this, I would have brought some information. But yeah, Oregon Recovers, there was over 1,000 people. They had key speakers. There was a lot of, obviously, people in recovery there. I think, like I said, over 1,000. And then representatives from a lot of different agencies were there, pulled together and just...
Not just 12-steppers, but...
No.
Treatment facilities.
I mean, there was a judge there was treatments, there was houses, and they addressed issues or talked about getting issues addressed about available housing and available treatment. The big key thing was getting people into treatment quickly because a lot of folks can't get into treatment fast. I mean, they come, they're ready now, and they say, well, we can get you in 6 weeks. Well, 6 weeks, what are you going to do till then? We already know what most times happen.
Right.
They're back out using again, and they don't get the help they need, and then they either don't make it in, period, or they come in worse shape, or however it comes about. But yeah, there was legislatures there, people, doing legislation and everything.
Yeah.
It was really, really good to see that many people come together, and the whole society as a whole.
So there was something that was very moving that I saw pictures of, and I've seen this done before. Tell us about the pile of shoes.
Yeah, I was really kind of hoping they'd have photos of. I believe they toured a lot of cities across the United States, like maybe every state they'd stopped in and gathered a shoe. Excuse me, a shoe. If you've had somebody pass from an addiction, an overdose or anything like that, you were to bring a shoe and put their name on it, and they piled them at the front of the stage up there. And I don't know how many shoes, but I saw it just continually grow as we were there. People were coming in. But it was just to make a statement. They're going to pile these somewhere in somebody's office and say, look, these are the people that have passed from addictions. We need to address this.
Right.
We need to get on it. When people have this, they need help now, not tomorrow.
Yeah, they certainly do. This is the number one. Addiction is the number one health crisis in our nation. Number one. And it gets...
Epidemic.
It's an epidemic, and recovery from it gets the least amount of attention due to stigma.
Oregon was the worst. I guess we're bottom on the list.
Wow.
Of actually jumping in and getting immediate help for people that need recovery.
And, even if you can get in right away, then you're battling with insurance companies.
It's an uphill battle constantly.
Yeah. Trying to get this passed, that passed, what do they call out of network stuff that they're trying to do in network. I mean, and a lot of legislation trying to get passed to help people, on Capitol Hill, help people understand that this is not necessarily just a moral issue, but that this is an epidemic of just huge. The consequences are just gigantic.
They spoke also of incarceration over treatment.
Right.
That we spend so much in incarceration, we're going to punish them into recovery.
Right.
And as we know, that doesn't work.
No.
So they're really pushing for that. Less jails, more of getting people into recovery quicker.
And it costs less, too.
It costs a lot
Way less.
I mean, like I said, I'm unprepared. I didn't bring statistics. I heard some of that. But you can go online and read about that.
Sure. Good stuff.
It was
Right
one.
there.
We gotta
It's
stop.
time for Monty Man's Weekly Wine.
All right.
Moving on. Moving on.
Well, congratulations for going up there. And we were in the middle of hospitalizing and working with our dog, Nala, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But so my weekly wine this week is two things. And
Shocker.
the first one, I don't know what it is up with jails or recovery events when it comes to clothing, but they really need to get a clue. Listen, criminals don't just come skinny, okay? There are criminals that are overweight.
One jumpsuit doesn't do all.
You try to put one of these jumpsuits on, and you're trying to zip up the front of it, and you can't get it past your gut.
Where's
And they're forcing you to do that. Or you go to a recovery event, concert, and they don't have any 3X and 4X t-shirts. What do you think, just because a lot of people use meth that they're all skinny? It's not. No, you need to have clothing for those of us who are plump.
All right, I'm on the recovery end of it, but where'd you come up with the jail thing,
Well, every
man?
time I went to jail, they tried to stick me in these jumpsuits that were just, I couldn't get in them.
You hadn't done enough meth.
Oh my gosh. Come on, people. If you're going to make us go to jail for being addicts, give us some clothes. My goodness. And if you're going to have a recovery event, and the church too, when you have Christian concerts, just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you're skinny. I want a t-shirt that fits me.
Okay, I'm going to tell this little short story here. I sell leather goods at craft shows, right?
Right.
And
Ravenware.
Ravenwares, yeah. There's no plug there, but anyways, I always keep a big Foot Locker full of bracelets, hand bracelets that I make out of old belts. I call recycle wares. Well, they fit most wrists. I have like 3 different sizes. Well, there was an exceptionally large lady came by and said, "Why don't you make them in large wrists?" And we pacified her and said, "We'll keep that in mind." But my buddy, when she left, he goes, "I should have just sold her a neck collar."
Oh.
Yeah, I make dog collars and things like that.
Sure.
And you could have just sold her one of them. I thought, oh my goodness. So yeah, make different sizes for different people.
Yeah, come on. I mean, really. So usually they'll have those, but they only have a couple. I say, well, we sold out. I said, look around. Look around you. There's a lot of fat. Come on, get us the T-shirts, man. Gee willikers. Get us the jumpsuits and the T-shirt. My second one, and Denver, you'll like this, is motorcycles that weave in and out of traffic. I am really getting very sick and tired of not being able to open up my door in the middle of traffic.
Are you having that problem in Oregon?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Zipping in and out. I'm so tempted. I just want to open my door up and go, nope, not today. I mean, come on. I know you've got to be somewhere, more important than any of the rest of us. But here's the thing that I heard. Now, I don't know if this is true. I heard that it was actually now legal for them to do that. Do you know anything about that?
I don't think that's legal yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are they
I
trying
think-
to make it legal?
I don't know why they would, but no, I don't think that's legal
Do
yet.
you do that, Denver?
Heck no, I'm trying to find every back road I can because I got you 4-wheelers up on my tail end because you're late for church or wherever you're headed.
Right?
Yeah, I take the back roads, man.
But I'm sitting there in traffic, and all of a sudden, zoom, zoom. I'm like, gee whiz. And they're not going slow. Now, on occasion, one will gotta be putting along.
That's the one you want to get with car door. It's the one where it is bad.
But, have enough respect for yourself to be a little safer than that. My goodness. Somebody's gonna, all it takes is one car that wants to kind of swerve over to, to look to see what's ahead of them or whatever, and you're trying to weave in and out of traffic. You're done. These guys are going fast.
Yeah, I didn't realize we had that problem here in Oregon.
Yeah. I don't know how bad it is, but it's just irritating because it happened the other day, and I just got whining about it.
Well, watch out, motorcycle riders. Monty's on the road.
That's right. I am on the road. Okay, so there you go. So we had the soundbite contest. We had our weekly wine. And then I want to say a big thank you to those who have already donated to our GoFundMe page that TJ, Tony, our co-host, and her boyfriend James put together. If you go to take12radio.com, smack dab in the middle of the page, it says "Help Save My Nala," and you click on the picture of Nala as a banner. You click on there, it'll take you to the GoFundMe page, and you can donate. This has cost a couple $1,000, and we're not done yet paying for it.
She's part of the studio, folks.
She is part of the studio,
Yeah.
and we just, for those of you who know, nobody gets a paycheck here, and so we're doing this whole radio gig because we love to do it. But when our puppy got sick, she has severe pancreatitis. It caused her gallbladder to swell up like crazy. Her liver is huge, and she's mending. She's home now. She was in the hospital at Oregon State University
today.
She's very jaundiced. She's eating a little bit, so that's good. She continues to drink water, so that's good. But her medications and things like that are costing a fortune, small fortune. And what people don't seem to understand, and I've been there, I've done this myself, or not done this, I should say. $1 helps.
Amen.
People think, well, if I can't give $20, I mean, what good is it? Let me tell you something. If every person that clicked the like button on that GoFundMe page would actually give $1 instead of just click like, we'd have this paid for. People all across the country, they're trying to raise money for causes and so forth, would have it paid for. If you did 50 cents, seriously.
It adds up.
So don't think it doesn't count. It really, really does. And for those of you who aren't able to, we totally get that. Your prayers, we covet your prayers. So many people have been praying for Nala. I lost count. My fingers were getting sore typing thank you things online to all the people who have been praying, and those prayers are very, very powerful, and God has heard them, and Nala's back home with us. What do you call that when they're recuperating? She is convalescing. Convalescing, yes. So go to take12radio.com. Please click on the banner in the middle of the page there to help take care of Nala. We really, really appreciate it very, very much. Yes, indeedy. All right. We'll be back with the topic. Topic is step 2. Am I losing my voice? Is my voice going away?
Maybe it had something to do with the moon pie.
The moon pie, I think, took my voice. I think I am battling a little bit of a cold. All right. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Step 2. When we come back, don't go away.
Turn around, hit the ground, time to lay a burden down.
Hey, check this out.
Okie dokie.
Some festivals are really great.
Yeah.
Some are excellent.
Yeah.
Some are big.
Yeah.
But this one is you. It's the 6th Annual Hope Fest. Saturday, October 14th from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and completely taking over the beautiful Prescott Courthouse Plaza in Prescott, Arizona.
Oh, I
but
love
wait,
Arizona.
this isn't just any old event. No. This is a community service extravaganza.
Well, heck yeah.
Featuring the Hope Serves Community Resource Fair.
Everybody loves a fair.
Live music, local and national recording artists, phenomenal guest speakers, free family fun zone,
Hey, for the kids.
food, vendors, and so much more. That's the 6th Annual Hope Fest, Saturday, October 14th in Prescott, Arizona. For more information, visit hopefestaz.com and celebrate your recovery.
You betcha.
Hi, this is Amanda Broadway, and in Florida, we listen to Take12Radio.com.
Yeah, little Chuck Berry. Yeah, what is that? Johnny Be Good. Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry. You play that there, Marv?
I can play that.
Can you? Yeah. I can play that song in OneNote.
And you got a gig coming up, what, next week?
This coming Saturday.
This coming Saturday. Okay, where are you going to be this Saturday?
I'll be up in Sweet Home at the Sunshine Industries Pavilion building.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's another cowboy poetry and music thing.
Is it open to the public?
Oh, yeah.
Is it? Okay.
What time is that?
6:30.
6:30.
6:30 at what night?
Saturday.
I know right where that's at.
Really?
Out by the fairgrounds there. Or rodeo. Unless they moved it.
I can't remember the name of that street, but it's right across from that big hardware store, right? Going out towards Foster.
The Ace Hardware?
Yeah, Forays or...
Oh, now,
Nice.
that used to be out by the rodeo fairgrounds, so I guess they have moved it. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's out there.
Interesting. All right. What's this? What is this? There it is.
You want to play trivia?
Okay.
Trivia.
And now it's time for everybody's favorite Take 12 game show, Take 12 Trivia, brought to you by that wonderful recovery magazine, the 12-Step Gazette.
Yes.
Visit their website at 12stepgazette.com. Now take it away, the Monty Man.
Where's Tony when you need her?
I
Where
know.
is Tony when you need her?
I'm just thinking,
Tony.
man, we need that laugh.
Yeah.
We need that
Denver
energy.
and I were trying to figure out how to do that, but I don't think we can pull it
Ah,
off.
We're sitting here staring at each other going, something's missing.
All right, I'll try to do a Tony laugh. All right, you try to do one, Marv.
Oh, no.
Oh, come on, Denver. All right, Denver.
I got my own. I can't even begin to get started. Sorry. Tony, we miss you.
Tony, eat more carbs. All right. Book trivia again. We'll be doing baby trivia as we're doing these steps. In the chapter How It Works, it states that people try to live by self-propulsion. What people is this referring to? These are your choices. A, the alcoholic. B, most people. Or C, people that live south of the equator. Most people try to live by self-propulsion. Propulsion. We're talking about the alcoholic. Most people are people who live south of the equator. Denver, what do you think?
Oh, I'm going with the alcoholic on this.
The alcoholic? All right, what do you think there? Yeah, really?
Oh, no.
Wrong.
Yep, it's most people try to live by self-propulsion.
Oh, we should have known that.
Yeah, sure.
Motorcycle riders and everybody.
Yeah. Okay, here's your second one. Again, in this chapter, we find that each person is likened unto something that wants to run the whole show of life. We are like what? A, directors, B, actors, or C, screenwriters. Marv?
Directors.
I remember hearing directors, too, somewhere.
Do you really?
You are kidding
Sorry.
me. I think...
We are like actors. Actors. Not doing too well.
Not too well at all.
All right, here's your last one. You can redeem yourselves here. Are you ready? Number 3, part of investigating step 2 requires that we realize that there often seems to be no way of entirely getting rid of self without the aid of what? Here are your choices. The 12 steps, a spiritual path, or God.
Oh, this is a trick question.
I think they all been trick questions.
Yeah, I'm going with God, but a spiritual path is huge.
Okay, Marv?
I'm going to try the spiritual path.
Yeah. Marv, sorry.
Okay.
Denver is correct.
3 for 3.
Wow.
Yes, often seems to be no way of entirely getting rid of self without His aid, and it's referring to God. Yes, there you go.
So that disqualifies me for the rest of the show.
It means when you go to your next AA meeting, you got to go sit in the corner.
Yeah.
Is what that means.
Sit right up front.
All right, that takes care of Take 12 Trivia, Big Book Trivia this week. Ta-da, da, da, everybody sing. Da, 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 No? All right. Step 2 revealed. Step 2 revealed. Step 2 says, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Doesn't say to sobriety, says to sanity. So we talked about last week, we're strangely insane. We've lost our minds. And it's not due to chemtrails. It's due to being selfish and self-centered and all that kind of stuff. And we're just strangely insane. So I always found it interesting that it said we came to believe. Came to believe. It didn't say we now believe. Right? And Marv, you talk about this a lot, that this is a process.
Yes, it is.
So going from step 1 to step 2 can be quite the leap. Okay, we've admitted complete defeat. We've admitted we're powerless. We've admitted our lives are unmanageable. Now what do we do? And step 2 would suggest that we came to believe. Now let me make something very clear here. This is not a program of suggestions. People will say that, but that's not what it is. It is a suggested program. Now here's the difference. A book of suggestions would mean that every single one is its individual suggestion, and you can pick or choose because it's only a suggestion. No, this is a suggested program as a whole. So you take the program as its entirety is how it's suggested. Or, as in the original manuscript says...
Put it back on the shelf.
You can put it back on the shelf or throw it out. But here we are, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity, which suggests that at one time we may have had right thinking if we're being restored to it. Now, a lot of people say, well, I've been crazy ever since I was born. Well, that's cute and everything. And some people may have been. I'm not sure.
Thank you for saying that.
But we came to believe. So did you just, boom, automatically believe just because you realized you were in trouble, Marv?
No, I didn't. It took a series of, hindsight's 20/20. And that, a lot of times... for me, that when you look back, that's when you see where God's working in your life. It's not obviously
when you're right in the middle of it, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
And so I look back and I see, which we don't have time to go into here, but all kinds of doors that opened up, people that came into my life. One guy said to me one time, really made me mad. I mean, I was upset.
You were hot, huh?
Yeah, he put his hand on my shoulder. He said, if you just believed in Jesus Christ, all this stuff would be different for you, be better. Mm-hmm. And I got so mad at that guy, I wanted to punch him out right there on the spot. And but just instances, and God designs them for us because we're so individually different.
Right.
He designs these instances and moments for us specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a process.
Do you think if he had said to you, if you would just believe in this rock over here, all would be well, that would have made you angry too?
Probably not.
So why do you think that the person of Jesus was combative for you? Was it something that you had experienced earlier in your life, or?
No, I don't really know, except for maybe one thing that was a truth that I refused.
Oh, and
had refused for quite a while to pay attention to or believe.
Oh, okay. So here we go again. Here's this guy in your face saying, "Well, if you just do this."
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it seem like too easy of an answer?
No, I just got mad.
Mad.
I really got mad at the guy.
Yeah.
And another thing, though, but what he said for months haunted me. It was right there.
Really?
I could hear him.
Yeah.
Saying those words to me over and over. So it was implanted.
Wow.
And I packed that around for quite a while until I met a very good friend who helped me see Why?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a process. There was a piece going on of the process in that. So what about you, Denver? I mean, did you always believe that there was something else going on in the universe other than you, or did you come to believe that in your recovery? How'd that kind of work for you?
Jeez. I would say that I've always believed there's something.
Yeah.
What it was. I chased different avenues and not with a lot of vigor. You know? I mean, I would dabble this and dabble that, but I didn't give it much. I gave it thought. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for here, but I didn't give it wholeheartedly to the idea that there was going to be. It wasn't a rock or anything else. When I got to be sober, it was going to be a higher power. When I came to believe, it was going to be Christ. You know?
Yeah.
It finally boiled down to that. And it boiled down rather quickly. Like I said, I've believed in a lot of different things and dabbled with them, which caused me some heartache down the line, too.
Sure.
You know, you open doors and things don't work out. None of the avenues that I had tried before when I actually realized I was suffering from alcoholism, none of those avenues to help me stay sober was working.
Yeah.
You know, I'd try it this way, that way, my way, every which way. But then it boils down to there is one higher power for me.
Yeah.
For everybody, but it's for me.
So in the ABCs, we're referring to those. We referred to them last week. A was, prior to that, it said our description of the alcoholic, which is in the doctor's opinion and in More About Alcoholism, which I failed to mention last week. More About Alcoholism talks about that. So it's important. See, it's important to read those chapters before you start reading these other ones if you're sitting down with a sponsor or whatever, because it's referring to those things in the beginning. So when you're going through, for those of you who haven't done this yet, when you're going through the big book and you're using it as a textbook of directions, start in the beginning. Start with the forwards and do the whole thing. For time's sake, we don't have time to be doing that. We're focusing on the steps themselves, but it's important to do that. So it says our description of the alcoholic, which you find in the previous chapters. The chapter to the agnostic, which, by the way, is got to be my favorite book in the whole book. And our personal adventures, those are the stories in the back. Before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholic and could I manage our own lives? And B, which we're talking about today, that was step 1. B is step 2, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. It's interesting because what goes on in the book, and then C, it says that God could and would if he were sought. And it says being convinced is the next sentence. Being convinced of what? Of what we just said. So you have to be convinced of that. So there's no sense in going any further if you're not convinced. Doesn't mean you have to understand it perfectly. Doesn't mean that you get it, clearly. It means you're convinced that you're in deep weeds. You're convinced, number 2, and we're talking about number 2 this week, that probably, and that's very palatable, probably no human power can relieve you of this, and you're convinced of that. Here it says we were at step 3. It's interesting because then it continues to go on and talk about step 2, and then it brings us back to step 3 later in this chapter, which we'll talk about next week. But it says the first requirement, and we said this last week, is that we be convinced that any life run on self-will can hardly be success. On that basis, we are almost always in collision with something or somebody, even though our motives are good. Most people try to live by self-propulsion. Each person is like an actor who wants to run the whole show, is forever trying to arrange the lights, the ballet, the scenery, and the rest of the players in his own way. If his arrangements would only stay put, if only people would do as he wished, the show would be great. Everybody, including himself, would be pleased. Life would be wonderful.
You know, it's been years since I read out of that book, and I still remember reading that part right there. That's why I thought we were directors.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. We're actors, but we
Directing.
think we're the director.
Yeah, we're directing.
The problem is all the other actors think they're directors. And then we're in collision with each other. What happens when you get a bunch of chiefs trying to run something? You got war.
You got bad stew.
So yesterday was I turned 62, and my wife months ago, I don't know, something like 4 or 5 months ago, has saved up enough money to reserve what's called an escape room. Now, an escape room is a room that usually has 3 or 4 rooms within a room. And there's clues. You go in, it's dark, there's eerie music. This one happened to be in the theme of Edgar Allan Poe. And you didn't have to know about Edgar Allan Poe. It was just in that theme. And so there's clues. And it's very dark and eerie. And so Colin, my youngest son, he's the guy that's in control, right? He's definitely the one that's trying to arrange all the players. Cameron, who is Larry the Cable Guy, right? And me, a 60-year-old bald, overweight dude, they can't stand for very long. And we're in this room, we're locked in there, and we don't even know what clue we're looking for first. And everything has locks on it. And all the clues help you open up the locks. So it was vitally important that we worked as a team because you only have 1 hour to get out of this room. And in this particular one, things would open up into other rooms. Bookshelves would creak open and another room would appear.
Where's this at?
Oh, it was in Salem. It's called Exodus Escape Rooms.
Wow.
Yeah, it is amazing. And so we were in there. But what I noticed right away is as long as we worked together, right, we would find the next clues. And one of the best ones was this piano that had several keys that didn't play. And Colin, who's a music guy, he's like, I got this, right? And he sits there at the piano, and then he realizes some of the keys don't play, and he's like, what? And so we found a clue that was in a letter that talked about this woman who she was always looking for the right romantic song, and she realized that it was in the silence that she found solace. And so it was like, wait a minute, some of these keys don't work. What are these keys? So he starts to play them in order. Nothing happens. Then he said, and he played them as a chord all at one time, together. And as he did that, a key dropped on the floor from underneath the piano.
Who would have thunk
and that opened up the lock. So the whole idea was he took each of those notes and he put them together. They worked together, and there was the solution. And so our recovery is kind of like that. When we work as a team, in our meetings, in our churches, in our support settings, we get a whole lot more done.
Yeah.
And when we realize that we need this power greater than ourselves to give us these clues, to point us in the right direction, we do a lot better. But man, is it hard to get to the place to trust in a power greater than yourself, So anyway, so I said all that to just basically say there's chaos going on when we're all thinking that we're the Chiefs. Marv, comments?
Nope.
All righty.
Not right at this moment.
That's a great story, though.
It's awesome. In trying to make these arrangements, our actor may be sometimes quite virtuous. In other words, he may be a nice guy. He's using that as a manipulation tactic. He may even be kind, considerate, patient, generous, even modest and self-sacrificing. On the other hand, he may be mean, egotistical, selfish, and dishonest. But as with most humans, he is more likely to have varied traits. What usually happens? The show doesn't come off very well. He begins to think that life doesn't treat him right. He decides to exert himself even more. He becomes, on the next occasion, still more demanding or gracious. as the case may be. Still, the play does not suit him, admitting he may be somewhat at fault. He's somewhat at fault. He is sure that other people are more to blame. He becomes angry, indignant, self-pitying. What is his basic trouble? Is he not really a self-seeker, even when trying to be kind? I mean, it's amazing. We're constantly going back to self here.
Yes.
Skipping ahead a little bit, it says selfishness and self-centeredness, that we think is the root of our troubles. And here's that word we talked about last week, driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity. We step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. So our troubles, we think, are basically of our own making. They arise out of ourselves, and the alcoholic is the extreme example of self-will run riot, though he usually doesn't think so. Above everything, we alcoholics must be rid of this selfishness. We must, or it kills us. Now here's the solution, and this is what step 2 is talking about. God makes that possible. And there often seems no way of entirely getting rid of self without his aid. So, we're back to came to believe that a power greater than ourselves, because we're so selfish, so we need a power that is outside of ourselves, that's greater than ourselves, to restore us to sanity. And we need to be convinced of that. So what are some of the difficulties, Marv, that you ran into in actually conceding to that?
Well, I think you just read it. Self-will kept coming up.
Right.
And by the way, it still does.
Still does. Me too.
After
Me too.
all these years.
Me too. Yeah.
You know, the problem is between my ears a lot of times. And one thing I want to say is, you know, so much of that book kind of allures to the fact that this is a one-time deal. You know, you do this, and then this is going to happen, and
then you're done.
Yeah,
yeah.
And boy, that's so far from the truth,
isn't it?
That's for sure. And even my walk with Christ, especially in the last 3 or 4 years, man, it's been rocky.
Yeah.
And the things that I once had faith in have disappeared. And I cannot, no matter what, I cannot seem to bring that back. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. I can't seem to get back what I thought I had. And more recently, it's occurred to me, well, the reason that is because it's got to be different than what it was.
Wow.
And I don't know what that looks like.
That's really interesting. There's a book out there that I read years ago called Will the Real Phony Please Stand Up? And the only thing I remember about that entire book is that it said in one of the chapters, when you catch the ball outside the end zone, you get the game the way it is, not the way it was. You can never have it back the way it was.
Right.
You can, however, get it back better, but you'll never get it back exactly.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my God. And that was like a sock in the stomach. Because there were things that I romanticized about my past that I really missed. And I wanted back. I couldn't get it.
Well, you know, I've been around this thing quite a while. And for a lot of years, things were really good.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some bumps, you know, cancer and some relationship problems and stuff like that. But I mean, all in all, as I have looked back on it, for 28 years or so, things were really good, and I believed I was doing the things that I was supposed to do according to what my higher power wanted. Okay. And so now this other thing happened a while back, and I'm completely, absolutely dismayed. I can't believe it. What in the world is going on? All of that stuff, everything's gone. I have no home. I have no wife. Any motivation, drive, passion that I had is completely gone.
Right.
And I completely, absolutely feel insane. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now I'm coming out of it. You know, I've been feeling a lot better and stuff, but I just, what did I do to cause this to happen?
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Right.
Well, I don't know that I did anything.
Sure.
Really. But still, I'm really having problems getting back to that place where I can get up in the morning, okay, Christ has got this day, everything going to go the way he wants it to, and I'm going to be fine. He's going to take care of me. He cares. I haven't got back to that yet.
Well, and I think this speaks to what you said when you first started sharing about this at this point, was that this isn't something that you do step 1 through 12 and poof, everything magically goes away and your life's manageable again and you restore to sanity and you just go along your way. You know, like if you have an operation on a broken foot and then it gets mended and zippity-doo-dah, you're back playing soccer again. It isn't like that. In the chapter, The Keys to the Kingdom, it speaks to that. It says, AA is not a plan for recovery that can be finished and done with. It is a way of life. And the challenge continuing its principles is great enough to keep any being striving for as long as he lives. We cannot outgrow this plan. As arrested alcoholics, we must have a program for living that allows for limitless expansion. Because life happens and continues to throw us curveballs. Right, Denver?
Yes.
So what are some of the obstacles that you faced in coming to believe that you weren't God?
Brick walls, obviously.
Brick walls? Kept running into him, did you?
You said, Marv said he keeps looking for getting back to where he was. I haven't ever got there. I'm relatively new to sobriety. I don't know how many years you said you had, but I'm new to the sobriety thing.
So you're over 2 years, right?
I'm 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's new. I mean, it's not new like what it has been in my life, but I fortunately am blessed to be around some people with some time, you know. And the came to believe from where I sit is that I come to believe that there is a higher power. A lot of it because I watched old-timers in this program. They came to believe, and it's working for them. You know, when I see somebody's got time, I go, how did you get there? And I don't necessarily ask them that question, but I just kind of watch and listen. That's my big key in this growth is shut up and listen. And it all revolves around a higher power for them. Why wouldn't it for me? So
sure. What would make you so unique that
that
would work for you, right?
I've got to give up this perception that I might be able to do this on my own because I've tried and tried and tried, as everyone that suffers from this has tried and tried. And you've got to surrender this to something bigger than yourself. So you are coming to believe that there is a power that's going to do this because I see it happening in others.
Yeah.
I see it. That helps me.
So in step 2, step 1 kind of boils down to 2 also when it comes to next week. It says this is the how and why of it. First, we had to stop playing God. And then step 2, next we decided that here, after in the drama of life, God was going to be our director. Now, it doesn't say, at this point, we haven't necessarily turned our will and our life over to him yet. We haven't relinquished that yet. But we're making a decision that he's going to have to direct this thing. whatever I conceive him to be at this time, at this moment in time. And that may be different for a lot of people. It is, right? In Alcoholics Anonymous? Yeah. It's going to be different for a lot of people. And my conception of God today as a Christian is not the same as it was 20 years ago as a Christian.
You said turn it over to the will and direction, and that's exactly what it is. You give a little chunk, and then you're willing to take some direction from this higher power. You know, it's not, like you said, it's not, boom, it's done, over, I finished my 12 steps, here I am, complete. This is an everyday thing, and it's going to be, what'd you say, for the remainder of time here?
Yeah,
I mean, it's just going to go on.
So that's been a process for me, is watching my relationship with God change and evolve. And, you know, I think about some of the things I thought God was all about, you know, when I first did give my life to him, versus now. And I think, I can't believe I even thought like that. You know, and he's corrected me most of the time gently, a few times, a little kick in the butt, you know, kind of thing. Here's something that's kind of, I always love this. This is kind of fun. It says, God was going to be our director. He is the principal. We are his agents. Now, try this and see what happens in your home group. Hi, my name's Dave, and I'm an agent of God. I will tell you, they'll either start cracking up, or you can hear a pin drop. But the truth of the matter is, the literature does say that. The problem is, we want to go, I'm an agent of God, like I'm this, you know, this mighty thing. It's really a very humbling position. You know, he is the principal, we are his agents. And then it goes, he is the father, we are his children. Most good ideas are simple, and this concept was the keystone to the new and triumphant arch, which through which we pass to freedom. And so I'm thinking this is a process of passing to freedom. And to maintain that, I've got to accept the fact that I've got to allow God to work on me until the day I pass. And it is a huge process. We're not at step 3 yet. We're going to be talking about that next week. Now, next week, Cody, our friend Cody D, is going to be in the studio. And this is a young man who really thought he was all that. And he is learning. He is learning more and more that, he is the child and God's his dad. And so we're going to be talking about step 3, turning our will and our life over to the care of Dad.
Is he aware of the topic yet?
Yes, I've let him know. I've let him know. He goes, out of my comfort zone. I said, you'll do fine. You'll do fine.
Give him a moon pie and let him roll.
Yeah. So I want to go back to this idea of being convinced, and we're going to close out with our closing song. It's so vitally important. If you're working with somebody, that you're convinced that they're convinced. It's so vitally important that if you're new to this thing, that you become convinced. Convinced of what? Convinced that you're a mess. Convinced that it's not working. Convinced that you're powerless. Convinced that your life's become unmanageable. Convinced that there is a God and you're not it. That's basically 1 and 2.
There has to become a truth to it.
Right.
That's real. Yeah. It's not me. It's a truth that I'm not in charge.
Yeah, surprise, right? That we're not in charge? Gosh, it's so depressing. So going back to the escape room, my wife was cracking up. She goes, oh my gosh. You get 3 control freaks in a room together. What's this going to be like? And again, it was amazing because we all thought, it kind of crossed our mind, or crossed both my son's mind, because I was surprised. I didn't know we were doing this, that this is going to be interesting. You get, 3 guys together who all want to be in charge. And the lady told us before we went into this room, you have to work as a team. And I felt the lump in my throat grow.
Where was Marcia during this?
She was with Amber, Cameron's wife. And
she didn't watch closed circuit TV or something?
No.
Oh, that's too bad.
But we all agreed, and ladies, please don't take offense. We all agreed that adding 3 women to the room would have been a mistake. Because they'd been screaming, because when the music would get eerie, they'd go, ah! They'd start freaking out, and then we'd start freaking out. And
ladies, that's Monty's take on it.
that's just my take. Yeah, that's my take on it.
No offense, Tony.
Yeah, so congratulations to Todd H. For winning the soundbite contest. Oh, I think it's time for the soundbite clue.
Yeah,
Don't
I
you?
could use one because I don't recognize that song. Do you, Mark?
No.
Here's the
No, I
soundbite clue. DJ Tanner. DJ Tanner. That's the soundbite clue. So you have to add the soundbite clue and the name of the TV show to win a copy of the DVD 34 1-hour workshops Walking Through the Big Book. Send your guess to take12radio@comcast.net along with your address, and we'll announce the winner next week. All right, our closing song is Amanda Broadway, and it is entitled I Surrender.
How can you see through the muddy waters in me? I can't catch the thoughts between the lines. Nothing seems right to define these feelings in me, all like broken glass I'm treading on. Another night from dusk to dawn. Then another morning comes and nothing changes. Yeah, I know time takes time, so I accept that just for today. I am broken and I'm afraid of surrender. What a mess I've made. I've trampled love and run away. I've hid from insecurities. Still I can't find relief of this indigestion with the clog in my emotions. I lay down on my pillow and the tears fall, 'cause nothing changes. Yeah, I know time takes time, so I accept that just for today. I am broken and I'm afraid of surrender. My feet, the only place I need to live. I learned to love and to forgive in the meantime. And I find peace in the hope that you believe in me, that you see something that I don't. Yeah, something's changing. Yeah, I know time takes time, so I accept that just for today. I am broken, but I'm okay, 'cause I surrender. No, I don't have
Miranda Broadway, I Surrender. Hey, listen, for all of you who have donated financially so far to the GoFundMe page for our dog Nala, thank you, thank you, thank you. There is no way that we could be able to save her life without your help. And there's no words to adequately express how grateful we are. So thank you so much. And for those of you who have been praying and continue to pray every day for Nala, I got to tell you, it's overwhelming, the outpouring of love that we've received. Thank you so much, everyone. Hey, listen, until our next broadcast, this is the Monty Man, along with the Take 12 Recovery Radio family, Christy, the studio cat, and Nala, the beautiful and wonderful studio dog. We're wishing God's perfect serenity for you. Bye-bye now.
Good guys, bad boys, we're all the same. Saved by grace is the name of the game. Turn around, hit the ground, time to lay a burden down.
This has been a broadcast of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
Cause she's a super cat, she's super kitty, meow.
Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Meow.